Hi, I'm Raj, and you're tuned into Sunrise Radio. As part of our International Women's Day Leadership Series, I'm speaking today to Sarah Khan Bashir, founder of SKB Law. Welcome to Sunrise, Sarah.
Thank you, Raj. It's lovely to be here.
So let's delve into your career. You've had a career in law for more than 2 decades, and what first inspired you to pursue that career?
If I'm really truthful, I never had any aspirations of becoming a lawyer. Back then, in those days, it was try and be a doctor, try and be a doctor. But I can't stand the sight of blood. So, my dad's dream sort of fizzled very, very quickly out of that. And I just did a degree in chemistry. That was my favorite subject at school. And I thought, well, we don't have role models like we have today. We didn't have networks within the family of certain individuals who succeeded. There were few, but they were far between. So it was just like, well, follow the next. What's the next step? Is it doing the A levels? Is it doing a degree? So I did a chemistry degree, and halfway through that degree, I met my husband, who was an aspiring lawyer. And I carried on down the chemistry path, but I came to a stage where it just wasn't giving me what I needed. I was working in a lab, and I knew that I had something more to give the community around me. So he suggested, why don't you try law? So I did the conversion course. It's a 1-year conversion course, and never looked back. And here I am.
Now, you mentioned the community. You founded SKB Law with a vision of combining legal expertise with cultural understanding. Why was that so important to you?
It became important, Raj, to me because as I qualified and went through the ranks, trained as a lawyer in a high street practice, and then finally when I opened up my own law firm, I was taught a very traditional way of providing legal services. And what I could see that there were individuals from my own community, because I worked out of the community for a while. I worked in Wakefield. So when I came back to Bradford, I felt that we were doing a disservice to some members of the community that didn't fully understand the law, the options available. So how would they get full justice or legal redress if they didn't actually understand the mechanism of it? So after 10 years in a partnership of a sort of a multidisciplinary law firm, I took the brave step with the confidence of a good friend who said, be brave enough to deliver legal services how you are, as in your personality. And she gave me the confidence, say you can do that. You can still deliver legal services, but with a cultural awareness attached to it, with a nuance to it. So people from all communities can confidently come to you and say, this is our legal problem. Can you help us? And we want to understand how we can help ourselves as well. So that was the beginning of SKB Law.
Now, your firm deals with complex cases, including cross-border family matters.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say are some of the unique challenges in those particular circumstances?
Well, that's a really great question. I mean, recent times have shown that there is still confusion about legalities of marriages conducted overseas and their legal sort of standing when they come back to the United Kingdom or England and Wales, where we practice law. So I have been working for a number of years on trying to raise that awareness. And when I talk about overseas marriage, I'm actually referring to the religious marriage of the nikah in the Islamic faith. I find, and this is my own anecdotal evidence, that in the Sikh and the Hindu communities, they're more inclined to, alongside the religious marriage, have the civil marriage as well. So the legality issue doesn't come into it because they've already had a legal marriage. With the Islamic marriage, the nikah marriage, if that's conducted overseas and they then return back to the UK, it's classed as a legal marriage because it was legal in the country where it started. But if that same marriage is conducted in this country, then it doesn't have any legal standing. It's simply a religious marriage. So that was a lot of work that I had to put in to try and raise awareness through guides, through webinars, through social media videos. But the more recent challenges have been in relation to transnational marriages. So marriages where they may have taken place in another country. They may have come back to England to live, but then they've taken steps to use the Islamic faith to dissolve that marriage. So the divorce could start in this country, but case law in this country suggests that that's not the right way to do it. So many people are known what's called in a limping marriage, in that they're not actually, they're still married, they're not actually divorced because this country doesn't recognize the Islamic divorce process if started here. So I've seen a lot of those cases, Raj, and it really causes a lot of complications, not just for the individuals concerned, but for any children out of that marriage as well, and any subsequent settlements, financial or otherwise.
Now, moving on from that to initiatives that you've started and are running, like the SKB Law Academy, where you mentor and support young people to enter the legal profession. What made you start that initiative? And tell us a bit more detailed explanation of what exactly the academy provides.
Okay, so it actually started off is that I could never forget my experience of trying to get work experience and get a job in law, and it always sat with me. So when I opened my own sort of law firm, SKB Law, as a sole practitioner, we would offer work experience. Now, a lot of the comments I got from young people were that we've done work experience in other firms before, and we were always photocopying, always making tea. We never felt we left with any learning. So we set about addressing that. So my team created this structured work experience program that meant over the 5 days or the 3 days that they were with us, they actually went away with some learning. So it was structured. They were given examples to do, guides, quizzes, whatever it took to get them to sort of think a little bit about the kind of legal problems we come across every day as lawyers. So that was the first step. That was a great success. So more and more people then would come to us to say, can you give us work experience? So there's only so many we can take. But Raj, honestly, we try and say no to nobody, because I know what it was like. So when I created SKB Law, I thought, well, let's attach an academy onto it. And through that, we do sessions in university, colleges, in schools, not just talking about law and legal work experience. We realized there was a gap in relation to the skills young people have these days. And, a little simple example is some of them will have difficulty having a phone call conversation when they pick up a phone, because young people are so used to texting these days, or, everything Snapchat or Instagram. So then we created something called an employability workshop that gave these young people, and not just young people, Raj, the academy is open to, we had a lot of women who would have left work to raise a family and then came back and wanted to enter the world of work. So it was like a soft landing. Let's prepare you. Let's give you those kind of skills, eye contact, elevator pitch to sell yourself. And it was transformational with some of these young people and some of the older people too. And so we've always kept that going, to be honest, and it's been a great success.
Now, as a woman in leading a successful law firm, what leadership qualities do you feel have been most important in your journey?
There's lots, Raj, actually. But I think if one stands out, it's got to be the mentoring side of things. Leadership, I think, isn't standing there and telling everybody what to do. It's more about including everybody in your journey and your plan, and being aware of individuals that you are responsible for needing more mentoring, needing more development, and taking them along on the journey with you. That to me is leadership, because if you look at things in the round, if we aspire and inspire a community, then we all do better from it. And I know International Women's Day, the theme this year is all about give to gain. So for me, giving is not just, people might think, oh, well, have you opened a charity? You're doing free sessions for, people in the community to raise their awareness about legal rights. That is all part of it. But I think mainly it's to look at the next generation of young people, lawyers or otherwise, giving what you have learned. That to me is giving. Is the best thing I can do is I can give you my experiences, my mistakes, my where I've fallen down, and how I've then picked myself up and give that to the next generation so they can then stand on our shoulders and then hopefully go even further. Because then we all benefit, Raj, right? If there is more people that look like us, that are from our communities in places of managerial responsibility, on the judiciary, more judges, then our whole community benefits. You know, we all will gain, if that makes sense.
No, perfectly makes sense, and I agree. If you could give one piece of advice to young women who want to become lawyers or leaders, what would it be on International Women's Day 2026?
It would be to listen to your gut. And I often say this, not just to young women, but to young people all over, that God gave us this inner sense. And we've always been taught to use your head, you know, sometimes use your heart, but there is a little voice inside that tells you if something is not right, if it tells you to fight against what you might be hearing, if the answer is no, to never give up. That little voice will keep you going, and trust that inner instinct. That's what has got me where I am today. I didn't set about thinking, oh, great, I'm going to own a law firm and I'm going to be able to have these opportunities of speaking to people about coming into the law, creating platforms like the Aura Network, which raises and empowers South Asian women in law to support each other and mentor each other. I didn't plan any of that out. That is just me listening to my inner voice, seeing what is right, seeing what is wrong, and saying, if there's a problem, how do we address it? Like the academy, there was an issue, there was a gap, let's do something about it. And you can. Everyone, I believe, is born with their own set of skills. I won't believe anyone who tells me otherwise. And it's a question of whether you can find someone who can help you pull those skills out and develop them, because we've all got our place on this earth. You've just got to find what your purpose is and go for it.
Thank you for joining us today, Sarah.
I've loved every minute of it, Raj. Can't we speak for another hour or so?
We'll have you back soon enough.
Thank you so much for your time today.